What's up, guys? Victor Pena here with OmniPrint International. Today, we have a super special episode. We're going to talk about pushing through failures, what to do in 2023, investments in real estate, lifestyle, health, and more. With my friend, AK, Scalable CEO. You want to stay to the end because we drop some fire. And make sure you like and subscribe and put your questions in the comments. That's where we're going to help you. And we're going to start. We're going to get into it right now. Well, I really appreciate you being here and, sharing some of your wisdom and knowledge for our community. You guys, this is a special treat. I told you already, I always have winners here for you guys to learn and to be able to get inspired. And we're going to go through that today. So AK, maybe just tell the community like a little bit about you for people that don't know who you are.
Yeah, for sure. I'm AK. I started a company called Swagify.com, which is our newest print-on-demand platform. We have about 85,000 square feet of print-on-demand manufacturing from DTG, laser engraving, sublimation, cut and sew, and been doing this for about 10 years. And we are basically, we've had a lot of ups and downs, and a little bit about my story was I started in my garage with one DTG machine and have grown it to about 50. And there's just been a lot of ups and downs in the entrepreneurial journey, but it's been a hell of a ride. And then there's still ups and there's still downs, right? Yep. So, but yeah,
I love it. So what got you to what motivated you to get started in the line of business and promotional and DTG and all that?
So we're still a 50%. Half of our revenues are still promotional products, and we serve about 40,000 resellers there, distributors, agents, marketing agencies, etc. What made me start it was it was just random. I mean, I was just born into it almost because I always sold t-shirts. Like even in college and high school, I always sold like custom products, and I didn't realize that I was just hustling here and there. I would buy it from Custom Ink, sell it to someone else, like a fraternity or sorority. And as I graduated from University of Miami, I was like, I need to do something. My family was a group of entrepreneurs growing up. My uncles, everybody's just an entrepreneur in my family. So I knew that I wanted to start my own business. And I just happened to, stumble upon custom products. And one day I was like, maybe this should be a business. It was just a side hustle at one point.
Yeah, I love that. So for all you guys that are just starting and you're going through and it's just your side hustle, and you're looking at people, oh man, like AK, he's at another level. But the reality is he started somewhere, right? He started as a side hustle where a lot of you guys might be at. So, that's kind of a inspiration always that you should take and figure out, okay, well, what are some of these steps that, somebody like AK takes to get from zero to making it happen, right? So what would you say, you've been in it for 10 years. So what would you say was your catalyst that helped you or really motivated you to start like putting your foot on the gas to grow?
I think I think that's, for me, it's a little different. The way I look at it is I believe that every business takes 10 years, just like real estate or anything. And I think having patience is the biggest thing, is understanding that this is a long-term journey. There's no such thing, in my opinion, as quick money unless you do some stocks or crypto and get lucky, but you're also going to go lose that very quickly as well. Right.
Yep, look what happened.
Exactly. So you want to look at like a business like this, as you know, is something that's been around for decades. Screen printing's been around since like the 1800s or something. Right. So, I always believe in long-term. I've always been a long-term thinker, and everything I put myself into, I'm like, hey, this is not going to happen in a year or two. Like you always see that meme where you see that big iceberg and someone sees overnight success. No, it takes, in my opinion, 8 to 10 years to get to that. Then it looks like it's overnight success. So for me, the catalyst is just being patient and just not giving up. And the more you do it, the more you put yourself out there, eventually it will have a snowball effect, but it's not going to happen the first couple of years.
Yeah, I love that. And guys, if right now we're in a world where everybody's impatient, everybody thinks that if you start a business, you're gonna get a Lambo tomorrow and you're gonna have a jet, and that's because we see it on Instagram and all that. And patience is very important. Are you building something that's long term, with a long term vision, or you just want to get a quick buck? Right? You have to decide, because AK's got it right on the spot. Your overnight success is going to take 10 years. So you could either go about it and accept that part, or you can be frustrated with the whole process, right? And one thing that I'm learning is to enjoy the process.
Exactly.
Because we pretty much have to be nuts
Right.
at our level of entrepreneurship to just push and grind every day.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's like going to the NBA. You're not
Yeah.
going to make the NBA if you don't practice 4 or 5 times an hour. I mean, a day. Like Kobe Bryant, I think it was like 4 times a day he would
Yep.
practice for like 2-3 hours at a
Yeah.
time, right? I mean, you got to be obsessed with it, with what you want. If you got to be obsessed with printing, and if you want to be successful.
whatever you're doing, guys, you got to be obsessed with it. One of my mentors says, "Be obsessed or be average."
Right.
What are you obsessed about right now?
I'm obsessed. Well, initially I was just obsessed with making money and just trying to figure it out, like just try to pay the bills, right? So
Figure out the money game.
yeah, and I would always put myself in a very difficult situation. Like I got married at a young age. And I was like, oh man, I gotta go pay for my wife and myself, right? Then I had a kid at a young age. I was 25, I think, 26. And I guess to me that's still young. Some people it's not. Like some people have kids earlier, but that put a lot of pressure on me to go be successful. Then I had another kid when I was 32, put more pressure on me, right? So, and I would buy cars I couldn't afford to put more pressure on me, and somehow I always figured it out, right? Like when I had bills to pay and I had a little bit of stress, I always I kind of broke through it, because I knew that I had to come back and pay for it, and that kept me going,
So do you feel like you need that extra accountability and extra stress to perform?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy, because the reality, guys, is you have to find what your driver and your motivation and your inspiration is. Where does it come from? Like, where's that, like, I want to make it happen come from?
Yeah.
For you, it's putting yourself in uncomfortable spots, buying fancy cars, and then having to pay for them, all that.
Yeah. We're all creature of habit, right?
Yeah.
Habit. So, when we all get complacent and comfortable, that's just part of the cycle of us as human beings. And you got to break through that cycle. And sometimes you either go on a downward spiral or you figure it out and keep going up. Every time I kind of feel like I'm hitting a downward spiral, we all have ups and downs, and they call it mental health issues, whatever, right? I mean, that's just, I think, is a luxury, like what 50 Cent would say. But whenever you feel down, you just got to like figure out, all right, I got to go either reward myself or do something to break through it, whether it's a nice car or a house or doing charity or whatever, giving back and putting yourself in a very uncomfortable position. And that always worked for me. And it's happening right now. Like we went through such a crazy growth phase. Now we're kind of going down.
Yeah.
I mean, we're down almost 66%.
Yeah.
About 50%. But it's okay because we needed that to happen, and we want to basically, and now it made me uncomfortable because now I got my rent's $50,000 a month. I got 85,000 square feet. I got a lot more capacity than I used to. The economy's on a downturn. I think most companies are down about 30% right now. So it's, I think it's going to get worse. But at the end of the day, it's going to put me in an uncomfortable position. So what am I going to do? I'm going to double down on my marketing efforts, right? I'm going to lean out. I'm going to go back and look at all the people that are hungry in my organization and see what they want, right? And see who's complacent. If they're complacent, they got to go.
Yeah.
Right. And realign my values and mission. And, that's just a constant exercise as you grow.
I love that. A lot of times when you're in that growth phase, and everybody's making money, everybody's winning, you ignore a lot of that waste.
Right.
And so for all you guys is how do you push through in a down economy, you push through with marketing, you push through with selling, you do the things that you're gonna go back to basics, right? Think about it. You're gonna go back to basics. Yeah. There's a thing where under stress, your personality shifts a bit.
Right.
So where does your personality go when you're under stress?
I think I've been through it so much. Even during good times, I had some rough patches. But now that I know it's coming, I'm kind of used to it. I know it, right? But I know that I have to survive. I know I have to put myself in a position where when things do get rough, I got to prepare. I got to have that rainy day fund ready to go. Like my brother called me today. He's like, hey, you're one of our biggest clients finally paid us because they're holding our money for 90 days. And we were just going back and forth. And he was like, hey, they paid us today. I'm like, good. Put that in a savings account. Right now we're getting 4.8% interest on it on a CD for 8 months, and leave it there. And let's make that a rainy day fund. So if anything happens, we can always go back and get it.
Yeah.
And just forget we even have it.
I love that. Yeah. You always got to have that. You always have to make disciplined investments.
When you remove it from your bank account and put it in there's a really good book called Profit First. I don't know if you've read it or not.
Yep.
Put it in a different bank account, you'll forget about it.
Yeah.
And you won't even remember it's there.
Yeah. This is something that you guys can all learn. For me, it's been a practice, right? But make sure that every single year, doesn't matter if you're up or down, you're actually setting stuff aside first for investments, for backup, rainy day fund, all of that.
Yeah, one thing we've done a lot is obviously real estate, which you do a lot, and we've worked with you now on a few projects. And so that's been good to diversify in that. So I've always told myself, like, whatever money I make, I'm going to take like 50% of the company's profits and put it into real estate, the other 25% back into growing the company, and the other 25% I'll put it into crypto or something high risk that's more long term that I believe in.
Yeah, I love.
And there's tax benefits, obviously, mining crypto, and then obviously with real estate.
Yeah, so. Definitely. So I ever since like I could remember that I would go broke every single year.
Yep.
So when the economy takes a tank, right? I'm like, okay, whatever. It's the same thing.
Right.
The only difference is every year what I do is I just move it to real estate. Yeah. Whatever it is, move it to real estate. Right. And then I've been staying hungry.
Right.
And because it just so happens, my favorite's apartment, guys. So I should be doing more like content on real estate. Honestly, AK, especially for our communities, because for you guys that are ready, you need to start figuring out how to get at least buy your warehouse space, because there's so many benefits that you can get. Low loans, you can get crazy write-offs, a lot of stuff. You become your own landlord. There's a lot of benefits. I think I should do more content like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I learned a lot from you as well, right? Yeah. I think that it just goes so well with having a business like in the printing space, because it's amazing cash flow.
Yeah.
Right. And then once you're at a certain level, even if you're just getting started, just take a small piece and just invest it. You have to. And if I go back 10 years, I started investing more. I put everything back into my business and to obviously my lifestyle. But if I could go back, I tell my wife this all the time. I wish like 5-6 years ago, we started investing in real estate earlier, even though it was like 20,000 or 50,000, whatever. Right now it's on a larger scale, but I wish I did that, because that amount would have just compounded over the last 5 years. And now that money could have been paying for a lot of my lifestyle today.
Exactly.
Right. Which I wouldn't even need to take a paycheck from the company, which now I'm paying tax on that and surviving off that. Right. Where I wish I started earlier.
100%. So the thing is we're all like amazing. It's hindsight is 2020, right? We all know what we should have done, right? But we didn't do it. I always tell myself, like, so I started buying real estate in 2014. I'm like, I should have bought everything. I should have like put everything I had in it every single year. But at that time, you're like doing whatever you can anyway. So the main lesson for you guys is, there's always a time to start. Right now is the time to start. I'm still buying. I'm still focused on growth. So
this is the best time to buy real estate right now.
Yeah. So this is the best
Yeah,
time.
ever. At least for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Right?
So let me ask you this, AK. So
Yeah.
what like tell me about a situation. A lot of people, when it comes to failure,
Right.
a lot of people have trouble coming back from it and
Yeah.
then give up. So tell me about
Right.
a situation where you've gone through some stuff and then you came back and it helped you, get perspective.
Yeah, no, when I first started the company, I was just trying to survive and pay my bills, and had an e-commerce business selling promotional products like silicone wristbands and lanyards and things like that. We were drop shipping from China. It was a good way to start the business, and we would print some in-house. And I started in 2013, and then in 2016, I got in trouble with the federal government, and they raided me with like 30 FBI agents in my office, and I was like, what did I do? I'm just like a little brown kid from like a suburb. Like I'm supposed to be a doctor and engineer, right? I don't get in trouble.
Yep,
The only thing I've had was a speeding ticket, And so apparently I got investigated for price fixing, which is a federal crime.
Crazy.
And I was like, what is this? I didn't go to business school. I mean, what's a Sherman Act, right? And obviously you guys can look at some of the content that we have, and I've gone super deep into the story if you just type in my name, but on YouTube. But long story short, I had to plead guilty to the case, take full accountability for what happened, and had to pay about $750,000 in fines to the Department of Justice, another like $500,000 in class action fines, and then the legal fee. So it cost me over $3.5 million, and then plus pre-probation and now post-probation, which I finally get off in the next month after 3 years, which is good. Couldn't travel. They took my passport up, and I was just felt like I was like, I can't get loans from the bank. Every bank I go to, they deny my account.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's hard to work with some of the bigger banks out there. Now they're the ones, you can kind of see like they're the biggest Ponzi schemes and crime out there. But now they got to punish us who
they get away with it.
Yeah, I didn't even know what I was doing wrong, and I can't. It's going to be harder for us to grow because I can't get loans. But at the same time, it was great because I had to figure out how to go make more money and kind of be my own bank and fund my own equipment, which allowed me to grow and not have to worry about debts. I just bought everything cash. Every time I made something, I paid cash. And now when it comes to a downtime like it is in the economy, I don't have to worry about these massive loans and payments, so I just kept trying to pay my bills. And my dad always told me, like, just don't have debt. And you got to be calculative. Now we're finally in a position where we can and get loans from different places, but not obviously not the big banks, but so now we're able to be a lot more leaner and efficient and be careful with how we take on debt and how we grow the business. But yeah, so that was, long story short, that was a downturn of the business. I almost lost everything. My legal fees were like $50,000 a month. And I was in debt technically. I was on credit card bills. And then I had to serve 8 months in a federal prison and came back, and the pandemic hit. And luckily I had all these clients that needed face masks and print on demand because all the facilities shut down, but Texas was a friendly state, and we were able to print, and I was able to acquire some large clients, and then the 40,000 distributors that were buying from us from all the acquisition, like 8 years prior to the pandemic, we just sent one email blast out, and boom, everybody needed face masks. So that's why I love the B2B space, right? Like, I think you diversify from B2B and a little bit of B2C, but that allowed us to really skyrocket our business during, we finally got lucky after 10 years,
Yeah, exactly.
And so that changed my life. And I was just at the right place at the right time, finally, but it was like 8 years of hard work, and then it snowballed from there.
Man,
but I didn't give up. That was the thing. When I went through all those ups and downs with the government, and because all they did was come to me, and I was like, 27, 28 years old at the time, and they're like, hey, you're facing 10 years. Here's a grand jury subpoena, and we'll be in touch with you. You're just under investigation. I'm just like, okay. So I'm like stressed out, like wasn't present for my kids, got diagnosed with the brain tumor, still battling that, but ultimately it was tough. And I went and instead of getting depressed and getting on antidepressants and pills and all that stuff that all my doctors are recommending, I just literally just focused on meditation and staying calm, taking time out for myself, working out, doing a lot of drip therapy, taking magnesium, and that kind of helped me fight through some of the day-to-day, like the little person talking to me.
Yeah, the noise.
But ultimately the lesson is you just don't give up. You just keep pushing, because that dark cloud will eventually go away.
Yeah, and what you did is you came out and you found an opportunity and you leaned into it hard,
Yeah.
And where a country's shutting down, everything's shutting down, and there's an opportunity. A lot of people crushed it with face masks. We did. I remember March 2020, April, we released like a face mask printing kit. April 16th, we did our first ever especially in our industry, like big Zoom live event, like 800 people live, and we were just like, all right, this how you're gonna do this. This how you're gonna push through. It was nuts. It was an 8-hour Zoom.
Wow. Yeah, and you're one of the only companies doing that in your space.
Yeah.
So you're innovating. You got to continue to innovate.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, if I would have known, I would have built a bigger studio. Would have built a bigger way to collaborate.
I don't know anyone in your space doing what you're doing.
No,
Brother doesn't do it. Epson doesn't do it. They don't get it.
No, and the reality is for you guys that are out there, I pushed really hard. We have a Wednesday community that's we go live with them every single Wednesday from our users, and I'm always hammering, all right, what are you guys doing on social media? Are you out there? Are you telling people what you're doing? Because marketing is the number one thing that you guys got to do right now to raise the awareness. Right. You said you're leaning into marketing. So what kind of things would you recommend for people to do right now to be able to market better and do more deals?
Well, us personally, we're gonna sell half of our DTG equipment. We bought it at such a great price that we can still liquidate it and get a good deal on them. So we're gonna sell some of that and move the other half of that space we're going to do and just buy a bunch of DTF machines from you guys.
There you go.
I really see the future of that. DTG will still be a player, but I like DTF and I like the machine you have. And I just wish I knew you a lot earlier. And it's just fun being able to, the culture and everything you're building is just so valuable. The community you're building is so cool because you're giving so many people opportunities. Some will take advantage, some will really lean into it, and as we build that community stronger with more successful people, it's just going to uplift everybody. And I think that's what's great about Omni, and these other companies, I've worked with them and they don't care about you. You're just another number to them. And being a big brother shop and doing a lot of stuff, I'm never working with those guys ever again.
Wow.
I'll say that.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. They have too many conflicts. They go around your back. So I'll never work with these guys ever again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We really leaned into DTF 2020, mid 2020, because, our values are to empower business owners to grow. And at that time, all of the direct to garment manufacturers, they're like, this thing, it's a transfer, it's a fad, it's not going anywhere. I didn't like it for the full fronts back then, but I saw value for people to make more money with harder to print things, neck tags, these kind of things, right? So I'm like, you know what? If that's our mission, vision, we have to lean into stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even if you have to kill yourself.
I'm blown away seeing your facility, just everything you're doing here and making everything from scratch. And it's impressive to see.
Yeah, it's difficult, but
it
gives me more control. I'm kind of a nerd that to be able to create better products. So
it's cool that you're making machines and seeing all these things is just exciting to see that you're vertically integrated, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's awesome and exciting to finally find a good partner who actually gives a shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, we all got to keep improving, right? We all got to keep figuring out how do you what's your superpower, and for us, our superpower was speed, right? Speed and quality. So for example, we released our first
Mm-hmm.
DTF printer that we made.
Mm-hmm.
We released it and we finished the R&D in 6 months and had
Mhm.
it released in 8 months.
Wow.
It was nuts.
Right.
Our previous direct to garment printer, it was a 5-year development cycle.
Oh.
But this market was here so fast
Right.
that it would like we had to deliver super fast, right, for the users. And we've been sold out ever since we released it. Since May of 21. We've been like just trying to catch up on it. And we have huge brands that haven't even released one.
Wow.
On it.
That's true. Because I've had a couple people come to us and trying to sell us on the next greatest machine, and I'm just like, I don't know you. I don't trust your service. I don't know what's going to happen. I know Victor, so I know where to find Victor, and his service is good, and you've been great to us so far, and we haven't even bought anything. You've just been a great friend, and I want to be able to work with people I can barbecue with, right?
Yeah, like 100%,
and enjoy, because you're going to take care of the customers, and if I make one phone call to some of these other guys, like they want your business, but after that they just they don't care. They move on to the next person, and I was one of the people that was slept on. I was the guy in the garage who, no one believed in me. No one, I was just a person, dressed like a bum at a trade show. No one took me serious. And now everybody wants my business, and I know who I'm going to allow in my inner circle.
100%.
And Omni's one of them.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I didn't pay him to say that.
No, you didn't. You didn't. Yeah.
Like, what makes you believe in yourself? Like at that time, go back. Because I had similar things. Like, what made you believe in yourself when you have that doubt? You're like, damn, I'm fucking like, I'm not doing anything yet, but I'm gonna do something big. Like, how do you push
it's
through?
a little fire to prove to yourself, right? It kind of goes back in when you get denied your whole life, whether it's through a ex-girlfriend or a girl you like, or in business. It's very similar, right? And you just want to, like, prove to them, be like, I got you, and I just had this fire to prove to before it was to them, now it's to myself, right? So that's what I learned. And it gave me that fire to push. And I would go to trade shows and I would walk by, nobody would like care. And I'm like, all right, well, you have no clue what I'm capable of. Like, I'll just sit here and while the guy who comes in with a nice little suit and a tie and acting all like he has all this perception and it's all bullshit, and he's nobody, so I was just the guy who no one believed in, and it pushed me to kind of be somebody, but now it's for myself, not for someone else.
So you have your own chip on your shoulder.
Now my only competition is myself. Like, I learned that I don't do it for other people.
Compete with yourself, guys. That's super important. If you had a takeaway,
and I don't mean to sound like arrogant or anything like that. I'm at the point where I'm very confident in my abilities, and because of all the ups and downs I've faced, and I want to bring that energy and motivate other people that if I could do it, they could do it.
Oh yeah,
100%. Like, if I could do it, they could do it.
Yeah, 100%. Man, so what are part of the reasons we do this show, obviously to motivate, inspire people, right? But also, I've gone through a lot of the ups and downs, pushing and shoving, and I got a chip on my shoulder to compete and be better than myself I was yesterday, right? I'm a habitual learner. Like it's one of the things that fires me up, and I always like to give back. So what are some challenges? What are some things that you're looking to do, that you want to do, that I could help you with at this point of your growth?
Yeah, I think DTF would be something that I would like to work with you on, and understand that space a little bit more, and look into that, because that is something that we see a big growth in. Because everyone's tired of that Gildan t-shirt that doesn't print well on those DTG machines out there, right? What's interesting is you're formulating inks here. You're doing so many cool things that you can sit there and test all that. while these other companies have these massive facilities overseas, like they don't see what's going on a daily basis and what changes. Like different mills have different types of cotton, and you start learning all this. But with DTF, it's pretty consistent. It looks good, and there's a huge rise in retail for print on demand that's going to start coming in the next few years after this little bump in the road of the economy. So there's gonna be a lot of capacity that's going to be needed. And I think the next big thing is printers were never respected. They're just, it's just another printer in his garage, or another felon that just starts a printing business.
Another felon, yeah.
And I think now, after we had private equity come to us a few years ago, and they gave us all this research, and we were like right in the middle, and we realized that we are the most valuable commodity, right? Like we're people need us. And it's just a matter of getting your name out there, and all these other companies are going to try to bully you and try to get better pricing, and it's a race to the bottom or whatever. But ultimately, at the end of the day, like you as a printer are valuable, and you should know that.
Yeah.
I love stick to your guns, and don't do it out of desperation, because you'll find a better person, or just do it yourself. Focus on yourself, focus on your own projects. Like that's what we're doing now. We're focusing on all of our projects, I
love that. So you're a lot of the time, so you guys that have issues with how do I price my stuff, one thing AK is saying is that when it comes to valuing yourself, remember everybody, and as this happened to everybody, shopping the next guy and the next guy and the next guy to try to get the best pricing, and try to hammer the cheapest pricing. Well, what you want to start doing is find out what those differences that you have that you believe in, and then hang to your pricing, hang to your value proposition, because you have that value. You have the experience, you have the shop, you have the machines, or you even have people that that can do the work for you if you don't even have the machines, right? My point is, what value do you bring? Focus on that. Don't focus so much on chasing your price down.
Well, don't focus on your competitors. Just focus on yourself.
Yep.
Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about where they're at. It doesn't matter. The market's so big for everybody. You just have to focus on yourself and your value proposition. Like one thing we always do that we usually win in is turnaround time. Like we try to do stuff the same day or in 1 or 2 days max. And by doing that, we are still able to maintain our margins and still grow the way we want to grow. Because no one else is going to do that. And we'll just guarantee it. So we'll say, hey, if we don't do it, then ding us for it or penalize for it, and we'll stand behind it. But that allows us to kind of be a little bit different than most people.
Yeah. So your superpower is speed.
Speed. Right. Speed. That's kind of been that's always been our biggest claim to fame, I guess.
What's firing you up right now?
I think what's firing me up is the opportunity that's coming in the next couple of years. Also finally being in the position where I'm not in survival mode. And also I was so busy doing contract DTG with some of these larger clients, and then they come and use you, and then they leave and try to bully you. And I'm technically funding their business by giving them net 60, net 90 terms, sometimes in the millions of dollars. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what, like I need to make a change, because I'm not going to go work for them and be a slave to them. I was sleeping in my warehouse for them. And now all of a sudden, some of them want to just reduce their volume and, and not give us that's when they needed us, we were there for them. And now that they don't need us, or they have a down, they don't at least be respectful and give 60 days or 30 days. Like, hey, we have inventory, we have overhead. My biggest thing is, that's fine. We have employees, and to look at them and say, hey, I have to let you go because our volumes dropped a little bit. That's been the biggest motivation for me is to number one, don't tie your eggs in 1 or 2 baskets, spread out, obviously. And this is, spread it across multiple clients, and don't trust anything that anyone's going to say, just be careful. That's one biggest lesson. I remember a really big shop told me, hey man, I'm never going to spread my eggs in one basket. And I did that, but luckily all my stuff was like paid cash, so I didn't have much debt at all. So I was okay. So I knew before taking that type of opportunity, which was good while it lasted, I knew that I would have to I need to make sure my liabilities are protected. But what fires me now is, because they removed some of that volume from us, it affected, and it happened out of nowhere. which is fine. We'll get it back. I'm not worried. But now it gives me time to focus on our core corporate strategy of where we want to take the company. Because for the last 3 years, I was like slaving for these companies. And now I'm just going to focus on my own stuff. And at the same time, build technology to empower others to do it.
Yeah,
so they can do their own stuff.
Love it. We'll leave it with this one, right? It's something that I do, and I think that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in our space, they kind of do similar things at the beginning, where they slave themselves up to the point where their health is just deteriorating all the time, right? So what would you say to people out there, the importance of health, the importance of taking care of yourself? Like, what are you doing on that?
Yeah, I'm guilty to that. I go up and down, and sometimes I don't take care of my health. Like, I'm in a phase where I stopped for the last few months, and it's affected me. And then so now I'm back into it and focused on it. And you just got to keep reminding yourself that you need to put your health and family first. Like, you have to. Like, once you do that, everything else will be good, happy. You got to make 30 minutes an hour a day. Just take care of your health. It's like 2-3% of your day, right? Just, you got to do it.
Yep.
100%. And because if not, it's going to catch up very fast, and you can have all the money in the world, but you can't take it with you.
There you go. I love it. So guys, where can people follow you? I'll follow that journey.
Yeah. Obviously Instagram, Scalable CEO. And then we're going to start doing some YouTube and stuff like that. So, over there as well, under Scalable CEO. Nice.
Scalable CEO. Make sure you guys are following them. I'll try to get them back on all the time. That way, you guys can see some of that journey.
And go to swagify.com. That's going to be our biggest, that's my big project, and I'm excited about that. We're still in beta. Yep. Tech is not easy to build, as you know.
No,
so
it's not.
We're still dealing with a lot of bugs and stuff, but we're almost there, and we're excited to launch that. And if anybody else wants to, wants help on that side, and if we can take our software collectively, because I know you've built a lot of stuff, and we can help other people, like, there's always that room. So
yeah, 100%. There's a big need, guys. I remember AK saying you're valuable. You're valuable out there because you're creating and you're able to deliver right same day, next day, right? So that's going to be big. I've shared it with the audience before. The vision of being able to send everyone out their jobs and a same day print and delivery is going to be where it's at. And it's whoever does it first, whoever does it best, and whoever does it with the main point in mind is bringing value to you guys out there that are actually doing the work, and value to the marketplace. That's who's going to win.
Right.
Yeah. Everyone out there, make sure there's about half of you guys that are not even subscribed, but you're over here trolling, watching the stuff. All right. So make sure that you like and hit some comments right there. Subscribe. Even if you don't like them, just say, I don't like you. Even if you don't like me, say, I don't like you. Because,
we need more engagement.
The algorithm doesn't care.
Yeah.
So, but if you do, also, hey, share some of the stuff that you guys want me to do, the kind of content. All right. So,
or if they have any questions and there's comments, I can respond back to them too.
Yeah, 100%. Any questions that we didn't answer, put them right there in the comments, and then, we'll answer them for you guys. All right. So that's a wrap. We'll see you guys on the next one. And remember that you got to push through failure, lean into marketing, make sure that your investments are a key priority for you, and stay in the right spot where the mic is. All right, guys. See you on the next one.